You don't need anything. You really don't need any crazy equipment. You can record a podcast straight from your phone. There's all these podcasting apps now that will host your podcast. Hey everybody, I wanted to share the equipment that I use for my podcast. I host a podcast called Our Society, and I know there's a lot of people are interested, business owners, entrepreneurs, things like that they want to start a podcast, and it's kind of daunting. And I've helped a lot of people purchase gear, select cameras, and things like that. So I wanted to make a quick little video and talk about some of the things that I have. First things first, you don't need anything. You really don't need any crazy equipment. You can record a podcast straight from your phone. There's all these podcasting apps now that will host your podcast, and you can record directly into those applications, and the quality sounds pretty good. I mean, it's not as good as having a microphone or an audio recording interface, but the audio is pretty good, and it's a good, easy way to record interviews if you're on the go. If your budget's tight, you don't have a whole lot of extra spending money, you don't need crazy equipment. Don't let that stop you from starting your podcast. You can legitimately start your podcast via your phone on whatever podcasting platform that you want to do or you want to use, and start with your phone. And then you could upgrade piece by piece. And that would even show your listeners or people that follow your podcast that you're putting more effort into it and you're investing in yourself and your podcast, whatever your podcast is about. So I think that would be kind of a cool story too. Like, you'll be able to hear and see the progression as you purchase new things on your podcast. I actually host two different podcasts. I host one with my buddy that's called Curiosity with John and Mike, and it's basically the same format. On Our Society, the one that I do by myself, sometimes I don't have interviews, and like I said, I just do interviews. But the one with Curiosity and with John and Mike, if we don't have a guest or anything like that for that episode, it's just him and I cutting shit. On both of those podcasts, we have different equipment. So I have separate equipment for my podcast, and we have different equipment for Curiosity with John and Mike. With the one with my buddy, the one that I host, we kind of went all in, and we got some pretty legit equipment. And since it was both of us splitting the items. But if you're on, I would consider what I have, what I'm using right now, kind of a budget podcast. What I use is a Zoom Podtrak 4, and it's an awesome audio interface. I've been really pleased with that. You can hook up 4 mics to it. It's real easy to use. There's not a lot of customization that you could do with it. You can't really change the audio levels, not audio levels, but you can't really add any effects on your channel like you can with like a Rodecaster Pro. The Rodecaster Pro, or that's what we have for the Curiosity with John and Mike podcast. And that thing, you can go in and like just customize the sound of your voice. It's pretty legit studio grade recording equipment. The Zoom Podtrak 4 is very similar. I think the audio actually sounds a little more crisp than the Rodecaster Pro does. So I have this. I think this whole setup, I got 4 mics. I got the Podtrak 4, and some mics and some boom stands for like $400, I believe it was. In the Podtrak 4, you can record directly into it with an SD card. It goes on the side here, or you can record directly into your computer if you have audio recording software. So like my setup, I'll use if I do a Zoom podcast, I'll hook up my MacBook to my Zoom, and I'll record the audio from the Zoom interview directly into the Podtrak 4. So it's all on one, and you can record multi-track or all on one track. So it's, if you want a more in-depth, review or anything, I have one on my channel where I kind of go over it, but I can do a little more in-depth interview, or another video for that one. For headphones, nothing crazy. Like I said, I purchased the kit, the Zoom Podtrak 4 kit, and it came with these Zoom headphones. Not bad. I mean, no complaints. I've been using it for about 6 months now. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money on headphones. And then for a camera setup, I have a Nikon Z6 II. That was a pretty big investment. For the first year of doing podcasts, the first year and a half, we used GoPros. GoPro 9s were the ones that we were using, and like, we didn't have any issues. The only problem with the GoPros is that if you record an hour podcast, it breaks up that hour into 5-minute video chunks. So you have like all these files for each podcast. If you have 2 recorders, you have one on your guest and then one on us, then that's, like 15, 20 files for each episode. So it's been nice having an actual camera, the Nikon Z6 II, and then I have the Atomos Ninja. It's been real nice to use. Don't think that you need some crazy studio space either. There's people that do amazing podcasts that are on the side of the street. They have real successful podcasts, and all they have is a table, chairs, and they're interviewing people on the side of the street. I do my podcast in my office, and I have my actual work desk where I, do actual work, and then this is my podcast setup. It's not real. It's not pretty. It's not sexy, but I mean, the video that you see just on the camera, it looks like it's like, I don't know, like maybe a podcast room. I got a couple lights. I'll put the lights in the description. I'm not sure what kind they were. We got them on Amazon. They were for sale. We got 2 of them. So I got one that acts as like my backlight or my accent light, and then one light that's on me. I forget what kind of microphone this is. This is a Zoom ZDM1, and I think it sounds good. I think it sounds great. I also have the pod mics that you get from Rode. Those are fantastic too. Those are about $99, maybe $100. I think these microphones are half that price, and they sound just as good. The one thing is that you can legitimately, like, these microphones don't block out the sound from the back very well, so you can literally hear everything. These microphones are pretty sensitive. They pick up a lot of sound. The Podtrak mics are I guess a little bit more studio quality. They block out the sound from the back and only pick up sound in front. So that's, I guess, my one complaint if I had one. But really no complaints with the setup. It's cheap. Besides the camera, like I said, you don't need a camera. You can even use a webcam. I know a lot of people just use a freaking little webcam and, record directly off of that. So you don't have to spend a lot of money. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be glad to help. Send me an email, shoot me a comment. We can link up. Talk to you later. Love you. Bye.